Israel carries out its largest ever bombardment on Gaza. Hamas is now threatening to kill captives anytime civilians are targeted without warning. It's been a deadly day of devastation in the besieged enclave. Civilians, including women and children, are among the dead in Jabalia. Israel says it has retaken control of southern areas attacked by Hamas as the armed group continues its barrage of rockets towards Tel Aviv. And Israel deploying more troops to its northern border area as Islamic Jihad claims responsibility for an incursion from neighboring Lebanon. It's 1800 GMT, that is 9 p.m. in Gaza, where Palestinian homes continue to be targeted by airstrikes. An Israeli army spokesman has described it as the largest ever bombardment of Gaza. And we've now just heard from the spokesman of Hamas's military wing. He said that the group would begin executing Israeli captives if Israel bombs civilian houses in Gaza without any pre-warning. Now, a warning to our viewers that the pictures you're about to see from Gaza are disturbing. These are the scenes from the Jabalia neighborhood in the north of the Gaza Strip earlier today. There are reports of mass casualties. Around 560 Palestinians and 900 Israelis have been killed in the most serious escalation in violence in decades. Israel has also declared a total blockade of the Gaza Strip. That means cutting off food, fuel, water, and electricity. The Jabalia camp is the largest of 8 refugee camps in the Strip, densely packed with more than 116,000 refugees. Not too far away is a UN-run elementary school, though it was not impacted by Monday's airstrike. It's still not clear how many people died in that incident at Jabalia. Now, Tareq Azzoum is live for us inside Gaza. Tareq, we've been watching very intense bombardment of Gaza over the last few hours. What are you hearing now?
Well, after the series of devastating and even lethal attacks that were carried out by the Israeli occupation forces on site the Gaza Strip, now a relative tranquility and a relative calm now is prevailing inside the Gaza Strip. This, in fact, did not come by chance. This relative calm came after the threat of the spokesman of the military wing of the of Hamas movement, Al-Qassam brigades, after mentioning that they will execute every civil captive, Israeli captives, if there is any Palestinian house was completely destroyed without pre-warning. Now, the level of bombardment that we had witnessed during the early morning is absolutely critical and serious, bringing catastrophic damage for the Palestinian civil infrastructure and even in terms of the death toll as well. But after the announcement of the Al-Qassam brigades, generally, the level of the Israeli strikes decreased remarkably, and maybe now the ball is in the court of the Israeli occupation to study the statement that had been released by the militant group inside the Gaza Strip. Now, as you can clearly hear, the sound of the Israeli drones hovering on the sky of the Gaza Strip can be notably heard looking for targets, but the level of destruction and even the level of targetings have remarkably decreased, and this fake calm could quickly be turned upside down if the Israeli occupation decided to continue targeting the Gaza Strip on the same rhythm.
What are the residents of Gaza doing? You say right now there appears to be a lull in the bombardment, even as we see lightning over the skies of Gaza. What do residents of Gaza do during that time? Do they shelter at home, or do they try to look for other areas of shelter?
Now, we can clearly say that the majority of Palestinians who are residing in the eastern areas of the Gaza Strip, which are adjacent to the borders, they earlier of the conflict, they were displaced from the houses. They went to shelters, specifically to the United Nations affiliated schools, in order to be protected from the Israeli shellings as well. And the other part of the Palestinian people inside the Gaza Strip are now on the houses. They don't have any proper shelters to be secured and protected from the Israeli strikes. Now, we can clearly say that the humanitarian condition in the Gaza Strip is absolutely on the edge of collapse, simply because now the internet access have been cut in different areas inside the Gaza Strip. As you can right now can clearly hear, the Israeli strikes continued after this frequent calm disappeared. And let's say that the Palestinian people are experiencing catastrophic consequences of the Israeli ongoing strikes. Now, the majority of central... oh, that explosion was so close. The ongoing strikes of the Israeli occupation on general public streets and even on the main roads led to the inability of movement. Now, Palestinians cannot really move freely by using their own vehicles, but they tend to walk on foot in order to get and even to buy their own needs. And it's important also to mention that right now,
if I can get you to pause for a second,
a number of buildings are destroyed.
What are you hearing? Because we have live footage, and we are seeing very impressive bombardment of the Gaza skyline. What are you hearing?
True, right now. A number of buildings inside the Gaza Strip are being hit by the Israeli fighter jets. Now, the sound of the Israeli fighter jets can be overly heard, and the attacks continued after a short period of calm, and it has been resumed again. Now, from time to another, we can clearly hear these kinds of explosions, but since the early hours of today, the speed and even the quality of targetings were uncomparable with the previous conflicts that Gaza really had with the Israeli occupation.
Now, the areas that have been hit in Gaza, do people normally get a warning?
Well, we can clearly see that, or say that the eastern areas of the Gaza Strip, since the early beginning of this conflict, they received warnings only to evacuate their houses in order to be safer from the Israeli strikes. But later, after the series of fire exchange between the militant groups and the Israeli occupation forces, Israel tend to directly target houses without any previous warnings. And a clear example of that is the massacre that had been committed today's afternoon in Jabalia refugee camp. The place that has been hit in the refugee camp is a public street that used for transferring goods and even for civil facilities and interactions. So we can clearly see that throughout these attacks and throughout the number of casualties resulted from the Israeli strikes, now it becomes so clear that Israel tend to directly hit houses without sending pre-warnings to its dwellers.
All right, Tareq Abu Azzoum, stay safe. You're in Gaza. We'll come back to you for an update on what's happening there. For now,
लाखों वर्ष बीत गए। आकाश के उत्तर में सफेद बादलों के पहाड़ की एक बड़ी गुफा में एक बहुत बड़ा भालू रहा करता था। यह भालू दिन भर सोता था और शाम को उठकर तारों को छेड़ता था और उनके साथ शरारतें। आकाश के निवासी उसकी अशिष्टता और शरारतों से तंग आ गए थे। कभी-कभी वह एक छोटे तारे को एक गेंद में घुमा देता था और वह कुछ चालों से पृथ्वी पर गिर जाता था, या कभी-कभी वह उन्हें उनके मूल स्थान से हटा देता था और वे बेचारे इधर-उधर भटकते रहे। आखिरकार एक दिन 7 तारे, जिन्हें 7 बहनें कहा जाता है, कूदकर चंद्रमा के बुद्धिमान बूढ़े के पास गई और भालू की शरारत का जिक्र करके उससे मदद मांगी। बूढ़ा कुछ देर तक अपना सिर खुजाता रहा। फिर उसने कहा, ठीक है, मैं इस बेहूदगी को अच्छे से सुधार लूंगा। तुम चिंता मत करो। सातों बहनों ने उसे धन्यवाद दिया और खुशी खुशी वापस चली गई। दूसरे दिन चंद्रमा के बूढ़े आदमी ने भालू को अपने पास बुलाया और उसे डांटा और कहा, यदि तुम अधिक शरारत करोगे तो तुम्हें स्वर्ग से निकाल दिया जाएगा। क्या तुम नहीं जानते कि इनके प्रकाश से छोटे छोटे तारे, दुनिया के लोग और जहाज अपना रास्ता देखते हैं, लेकिन आप उन्हें खेल में रोज नष्ट कर देते हैं। आपको यह भी नहीं पता कि जब ये तारे अपनी जगह पर नहीं रहते तो दुनिया के यात्री और जहाज अपना रास्ता खो देते हैं। मियाँ रेच ने कान लगाकर सुना और कान हटाकर हंसे और बोले, क्या मैंने दुनिया भर के जहाज़ों और यात्रियों की चिंता करने के लिए रोशनी का ठेका ले रखा है? इतना कहने के बाद भालू चला गया। उसके जाने के बाद बूढ़े व्यक्ति ने बहुत देर तक सोचा कि इस राक्षस को कैसे नियंत्रित किया जाए। एक एक करके उसने सोचा कि उसे ओरायन की मदद लेनी चाहिए। ओरायन एक शक्तिशाली तारे का नाम था, जो उन दिनों बहुत अच्छा शिकारी माना जाता था और अपनी ताकत के कारण उसे दैत्य कहा जाता था। यह सोचकर बूढ़े व्यक्ति ने अगले दिन दैत्य ओरियन को बुलाया। यह निर्णय लिया गया कि वह आज शाम को भालू को पकड़ने की कोशिश करेगा। तो देर रात ओरियन ने शेर की खाल पहनी और भालू की गुफा में चले गए। वे गए और वे छोटे सितारों से बनी सड़क पर अंतहीन रूप से दौड़ते रहे, जो परियों की भूमि की ओर जाती है और जिसे हम आकाश गंगा कहते हैं। आखिरकार लंबी दौड़ के बाद शक्तिशाली शिकारी आया और ध्रुवीय भालू को पकड़ लिया और उसे आकाश में एक जगह कैद कर दिया। भालू बंधा हुआ दिखाई देगा। 7 बहनों में से 4 ने उसे पकड़ रखा है, जबकि अन्य 3 बहनें उसे पकड़ रही हैं पूंछ। यदि आप आकाश की ओर देखेंगे तो आप ओरियन देव को भी भालू पर निशाना साधते हुए धनुष बाण के साथ खड़े देखेंगे।